Welcome back. House Speaker Mike Johnson revealing a short-term spending plan to avert a government shutdown. The two-step proposal would fund part of the government until January 19th and the rest until February 2nd. The proposed continuing resolution does not include any funding for Ukraine or Israel. He's separating that out. Johnson saying in a statement, quote, the bill will stop the absurd holiday season omnibus tradition of massive loaded-up spending bills introduced right before the Christmas recess. Joining me right now is Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez, a member of the House Armed Services and Homeland Security Committees and Select Committee on China. Congressman, good to see you. I mean, you know, a continuing resolution was why some of your colleagues claimed they needed to get rid of Kevin McCarthy. Now you've got another continuing resolution, only this one is actually going to be keeping Nancy Pelosi's spending in place partly until February. Your reaction?
You're right. It's exactly, this is a continuing resolution split up into two, but a rose by any other name is still a rose, right? So this is a continuing resolution keeping the policies and the spending of last year. So you're absolutely right. This is what supposedly got Kevin McCarthy, kicked out as Speaker. Look, I support the continuing resolution. I think we are where we are. I support the Speaker and his plan. But you're absolutely right. This is the same as what got Kevin McCarthy in trouble, a couple of months ago.
So the question is, where does it go? I mean, some Republicans are already opposing the plan. You've got Freedom Caucus members, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Chip Roy, Warren Davidson, all posting on social media that they would vote against it. So here we go again. Are we going to see a government shutdown?
No, I don't think so, because I think, look, if the Democrats look at what really is being proposed, I think you'll get some Democrat votes. It's a continuing resolution, it's basically a clean CR split up into two parts. And so hopefully, even though you'll get some Republicans not to vote for it, just like what happened under Kevin McCarthy, where you had a bunch of Republicans not vote for a clean CR, most, if not all, Democrats did vote for it, because the last thing we want to see is a government shutdown. Look, we need to get back to work. We are at work. We're having difficulty in passing some of our appropriations bills, like THUD last week. Hopefully we can iron our differences out and pass those appropriation bills and get back to normal order, but regular order. But it's tougher, to actually do than say, as the new Speaker is finding out. The dynamics are the same under him as they were under Kevin McCarthy.
Right, exactly. So you've got one of the bills providing funding until January 19th, including the appropriations bills for agriculture, military construction, and veterans affairs, energy, water. And then the second bill includes other appropriations bills and lasts until February 2nd. Liz Peek, jump in here.
Good morning, Congressman. Thank you for joining us. What is the mood of the GOP caucus at this point? Are they tending to be somewhat generous towards Mike Johnson because they don't want another big squabble before the end of the year? And secondly, you said the last thing we want to see is a government shutdown. The last thing I want to see is one of these horrible, giant omnibus spending bills that everybody gets incensed about. What's your take on that?
Well, I think, the Speaker's plan to break it up and then extend it past December is just that, trying to make sure that we don't get jammed by a huge, omnibus bill just before the Christmas break, and everybody's trying to get out and then just pass something. So I think in that sense, it's a good plan, but we still got to get our house in order. We still have to pass, 12 appropriation bills, and we're having difficulty with that. Because we do have differences of opinion inside the conference. The more conservative members of Congress want, deep spending cuts. And while we all want spending cuts, there are some more moderate members of Congress that represent different areas, that some of these spending cuts would actually make them, not congressmen next cycle. And remember, the most important thing is holding on the majority. And if you can get 75 or 80% of what you want, that's what we need to pass. But some members just don't understand that. They want 100%, and what they're going to get in the end is going to be zero, because they're going to end up with a Democrat sitting in that seat, and then we're going to go back to the Democrat spending policies, which is spend, spend, spend.
Yeah,
money that we don't have, and our children don't have, and our grandchildren don't have.
Very good point. By the way, the White House is already attacking Republicans. They're saying Mike Johnson's plan is extreme, a recipe for more Republican chaos and more shutdowns. So that's the word from the White House right now. But I want to get your take on this meeting on Wednesday. President Biden is going to be meeting with Xi Jinping this week in San Francisco. He's expected to talk about the relationship with Iran, China's support of Iran, the U.S. carrying out more retaliatory strikes against Iranian facilities in Syria overnight. Now we've got at least 48 attacks on U.S. bases in the Middle East since November 17th. Since October 17th, that would be. And we're looking at the November 17th deadline for the funding. But your thoughts on this meeting between Xi Jinping and Joe Biden, Congressman, what do you want to see come up there?
Well, look, we've issued a 10-point, letter with 10 points about what China is doing around the world. We need to stop, China from being showing the aggression that they've shown towards Taiwan. We need China to release political prisoners, to release American political prisoners, to allow Americans to leave China, to stop their aggressive actions against the United States, Taiwan, and our Philippine allies, in that portion of the region of the world, and many other things that China is exhibiting. But I doubt that we're going to get anything out of this. Joe Biden hasn't shown to be a very strong leader on the world stage, and I am afraid that he's going to be overmatched with Xi Jinping. And he's going to come out, and they're going to say a bunch of stuff. Hey, we got China to do this, 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 and this. But remember what I always say: never listen to Joe Biden, what he says. Watch what he's doing. And it's unfortunate that what he's actually doing usually is against American interests. So I'd expect nothing less in this meeting with Xi Jinping, that they'll say great things, but actually what happens is going to be counter to what's in the best interest of America and Americans.
Well, that's very disturbing, Congressman. And we're also looking at evidence in plain sight of, 20 shell companies that he set up when he was vice president, bank records indicating money that went directly to Joe Biden, which your colleagues say is part of money laundering. And yet House Speaker Mike Johnson reportedly told moderate Republicans that there is still insufficient evidence to start impeachment proceedings against this president, that lawmakers should take their time with the probe, reportedly feeling Biden's polling is so bad, impeaching him could backfire. So your thoughts on this? As Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene responded on X, she says, not long ago, we had a speaker that believed in impeachment so much that he launched an inquiry without a floor vote, but you were told he was bad. After 8 Republicans and all Democrats ousted him, we found checks to Joe Biden and evidence of a massive money laundering scheme. And now the new guy, you're told, is way better, doesn't really want to impeach. Such progress, Congressman. So where are we on that?
Look, I think that was a little tongue-in-cheek comment from the new speaker. I think what the new speaker wants, I know what the new speaker wants, is actually for us to go through the process. And so, Jim Jordan and Jamie Comer are doing a great job in their respective committees of uncovering all the evidence. And we want to bring all the evidence in front of the American people. It has to be done the right way, not like the Democrats who impeached the president in 3 days, for God's sakes. And so, yeah, there's evidence mounting. Look, I've thought a long time ago that this president is corrupt. This president is compromised. And we need to move on. But, there is a process, and those two gentlemen are doing a great job in uncovering it all. And, the DOJ is not helping us. The FBI is not helping us uncovering this. And so it's going to take a little time. But at the end, if they uncover sufficient and they believe that it's time to press for an impeachment, I'm sure that we will move forward with impeaching Joe Biden.
All right. Well, good to see you, Congressman. We'll be watching all of that. Thanks for joining us. Carlos Gimenez.